All right, it's Brandon Vogt with the Farm to Table Report on 96.3 News Radio KKOB, presented by DSR Cattle. You can learn more at dsrcattle.com and Desert Sky Ranch. And Matt Zorn with us. Matt, thanks for being on with us again. And we're going to talk about the U.S. government and food inflation. It's up 18% over the last 3 years, but is that really true when you looked at the numbers?
Hey, Brandon. Well, the Consumer Price Index report for October just came out, and they reported that food consumed at home was up 0.3%. Food that we consume away from home, restaurants and such, up 0.4%. And the total for the year was 3.3%. And when we look at these small moves, it's really kind of hard to see what's going on. So I wanted to go back and take a look at the bigger picture. So what I did was I pulled up the CPI food inflation numbers for 21, 22, and 23. And in 2021, they reported 3.5% inflation. 2022, 11.4%, and like I said, in 2023, it's 3.3% to date. So that comes to 18.2% over the 3 years. Now, that hasn't been my experience, and I don't think that's the experience of most KKOB listeners. But these are the CPI numbers, the official numbers that we have to work with. Yeah. But like you said, are they accurate? So I wanted to look and find some other sources, and I ended up finding a channel on YouTube, a gentleman who he does this. This is what he tracks. And what he does is he goes shopping like we all do. He goes to Walmart, Costco, local grocery store, and he takes videos and still shots year over year. He does it each February. Now, they're nothing fancy. He just walks into the store. It's the same aisle, the same shelf, the same item, and he's basically showing you the price in live. And then on the right, it just pops up last year's price. Now, these aren't government reports, but they're real numbers. And this is what he's going to be paying when he gets to the register. So it's, rubber hits the road. Now, what I noticed when I watched the tapes was the minimum I saw was a 20% increase. The maximum was almost 300%. And most of the items were anywhere from between 60 and 100% higher year over year. These are staple items. Yeah. So now I know the CPI uses specific items and they average out the numbers and they massage and everything, but this is not even close. I mean, we're talking 30, 40, 50% off of the numbers that they're reporting for food inflation. So Brandon, I'll ask you, can you think of a reason why they would want to make inflation appear lower than it might be?
Well, first thing I think of is the cost of living adjustment, COLA.
Yeah, COLA. That's definitely one of the two that I was thinking of, too. Over 33% of the U.S. population receives some kind of benefit from the government that's tied to COLA, and they have to make adjustments each year. Another thing to consider is the Federal Reserve has a mandate to keep inflation at or near 2%, and they use interest rates to, make adjustments to try to keep inflation under control. And interest rates, we know, affects everything from car loans to mortgage rates to the national debt. So you can kind of see why they might want to keep the numbers lower or appear lower than they actually are to avoid some of these increases and they're required to make. So I would just have to say that food inflation is much higher than they're stating. And the reports currently, the way they have them, they're very little value to consumers.
Yeah, but we feel it in our pocketbooks and find other information other than the government, too, just like you did, Matt.
Yeah. What do they say? Believe half of what you read and nothing of what you see, or I forget exactly how the saying goes, but it's close.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Matt, tell us a little bit about Desert Sky Ranch.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. So Desert Sky Ranch is located right here in New Mexico, and we specialize in growing Angus cattle to order. And whether listeners, they just want to know where their food is coming from and who's growing it, or if they're looking for a healthier alternative and a better pricing that's available in the stores, we invite them to learn how our program works at dsrcattle.com, or they can call us at 505-864-3900. And I will say happy Thanksgiving to all the listeners and to you and Marie.
All right. Thank you, Matt. It's our Farm to Table report from DSR Cattle on 96.3 News Radio, KKOB.